You really don't know how much it means to our family to have you all here. From Texas to Arizona, California, New York, many others online, including some friends I've never met in person. We've become like hermits these recent years, the Hess family. We haven't seen many of you for a long time. We've never felt so loved in all of our lives. In many of the great romance stories, a couple grows more deeply in love with each passing year. That's pretty much exactly how Monique and I feel about this little pastoral community, so worthy of its name. As Jenny Painter reminded us, so many of you, our friends and our family, have not just been heartbroken for us, you've been heartbroken with us. We weren't the only ones who loved Emma so much. I married a remarkable woman. I've never met anyone with more faith than my wife. But her most hidden gift is her wicked sense of humor. As we tacked through a few more of the decisions to make before today, Monique said a few nights ago, all this planning feels a little like a wedding, except you're brain dead and really don't want to do it. Monique is often so very strong. I've told friends over the years that if our family was forced to cross the plains like the pioneers and I happened to get sick, Monique would just throw me on the back of the handcart and go along fine to the Salt Lake Valley, no problem. She has often seemed like more of a pioneer woman, resolute, unconquerable, and tough. Not this week, though. Our boys have cycled in and out of their own tears for Emma this week. But more than a few have been for their mother. I've never seen Mom like this, they keep whispering to me. Yet, in the very moment when my sweetheart and I have felt like we're teetering on the edge of an abyss, here you come, like the cavalry, our dearest friends and family. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. That's what I told our dear Bishop Aaron as he held Monique and I on both of his shoulders at the hospital. Bishop, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. Of course, Monique and I know we're not the only ones who have said that in this room. There's probably not a single person in this whole room who hasn't said something like that about 1,000 different situations in your own life. I want you to know, my dearest friends and family, that I don't know the meaning of all the things we're experiencing. But there are some important things I do know. And though it's not conventional for a father to speak at his daughter's funeral, I felt compelled this week, like my father before me at my brother's funeral, to share a few things that we felt this week. So please forgive me for reading. That's what you do when your mind is mush and you want to get it right. Last Thursday morning, our life veered quickly into nightmare territory when Monique rushed to the car holding our breathless daughter Emma, who was still warm. I'd given her water only 30 minutes before. As I drove towards the Painters, our wonderful EMT neighbors, Monique gave Emma a few of her own panicked breaths. This wasn't the first time Monique had done anything she possibly could to pour her own life into this precious little girl. But as we were surrounded in a surreal swarm of emergency professionals, it began to dawn on us that we might be entering a new chapter. We prayed, we cried, and we prayed some more. The most vivid memory for me was feeling someone's hand gently on my back, looking back to see my friend and neighbor Matt stroking my back, trying to console me. Especially at times everything else seems in chaos, I'm amazed at the power of touch. We tease our boys sometimes that our family isn't getting the 8 hugs a day that supposedly everybody needs. Well, whatever deficit we've had as a family, this week we've been overdosing on hugs like junkies. We just can't get enough. Touch was one of the main ways that we shared our love with Emma. One of my favorite moments was placing my hand right under her chin, placing her head right under my chin, my hand around her cheek, and just nuzzling her close. Emma's brain injury led her limbs to be crossed, her hands most often clenched, and her teeth sometimes grinding. From the beginning, caring professionals weren't able to give us a whole lot of hope about her life, sending us home with only a few limited tools. So we did what parents do, scouring the globe for anything that could lead Emma to a better life. After learning how much environmental variables can impact seizures, we tried to get rid of some mold discovered in the home and replaced old carpets with cleaner materials. I'll never forget so many of my neighbors converging on our home that bleak December to put the new floor down, with John and Jocelyn Bangeter walking out the door in a mess at 11 o'clock one evening, pretending that they'd been out on a fun date. Emma had superheroic hearing and would react to any loud noise, so we found a wonderful home for our puppy with Jeff and Tanya, moved the piano downstairs, and the boys agreed to never fight or get too loud or crazy ever again. Hold on. Scratch that last one from the public record. My mind's really gone today. The truth is, Emma was almost always the best behaved on any road trip. We discovered that shutting off our Wi-Fi at night made a noticeable improvement in her sleep, and ours too. You should try it sometime. We learned that gentle physical adjustments could relieve some of her tension, and we're grateful to Dr. Brandon Wilson and so many others for their tender care locally, and for the Doman Clinic in Philadelphia for providing so much guidance and hope to us. We also learned that a strict keto diet could reduce seizures. So during the first 2 years of Emma's life, Monique let go, as I put it, of any food that is pleasurable, only eating what would help our daughter. As Emma started eating solid foods, Monique spent hours every day preparing blended vegetable mixes of beets, carrots, cauliflower, and so forth, alongside different kinds of protein, vitamins, oils, and seeds to help her digestion. The combination of all of these life adjustments and professional supports reduced Emma's seizures to virtually nothing, except when she became sick, like the last couple of weeks, when her inflamed immune system would escalate everything. We were reminded of how much these little adjustments helped when Dad made mistakes like blending up all the fish cubes for her dinner thinking they were squash, or let her suck on a peach once, and we saw her symptoms escalate. To my knowledge, that was the only sweet thing Emma ever enjoyed. We used to talk like Sam mentioned. By the way, Sam wrote that talk. You did a great job, Sam. We used to talk as a family about a miracle that would allow Emma to see, talk, walk, and of course, finally be able to eat brownies and ice cream. Maybe that's all finally come to pass, because certainly whatever theological differences may exist among various believers, they can all agree that it wouldn't be worthy of the name heaven if they didn't serve ice cream. Even at her best, Emma was still a cute Raggedy Ann doll in our arms, unable to hold her head up or move much at all. And she could see only very little. In the New Testament miracles, you see children and adults unable to walk, speak, see, and enduring palsy and painful tremors. Here in this one small body, we witnessed Emma experiencing seemingly all those afflictions at the same time. I did see Emma smile once, but not since then, which explains why Nicole and Jennifer's song was so meaningful to us. We all know what it's like to hurt after doing something dumb in our life, but it's a whole other thing to see perfect innocent suffering, a kind of sacred witness to something similar in ancient Gethsemane. We suffered with her and cried with her while trying to find ways to bring her a little sweetness. We tickled her arms and back, whispered to her constantly how much we loved her, and sometimes told her stories. I like to sing Broadway to her. I see your face, I feel your heartbeat. One look in your eyes, how wise they seem. When Emma was really upset, Monique would dance with her to help her calm down. Although my good wife was never fully convinced, I am persuaded Emma had a secret thing for Adele because her mighty voice seemed to calm her little heart down so well. The times when Emma would drift off for a nap or finally fall asleep were my favorite, and I started to just take pictures of those moments where she finally got really good peace. After a year, we learned of a specialty clinic in Philadelphia with a long history of working with brain-injured children and a track record of helping to stimulate development. For months, Monique spent hours a day working intensively with her while juggling her other 4 low-maintenance children. Hafen and his children built this awesome ramp that was part of the protocol to spur brain growth. But after 6 months, Monique and I saw no discernible impact. We were exhausted. We'd done everything we could do that we felt peaceful and right about. At this point, a distinct impression came. Stop. In sacred experiences both Monique and I had, the guidance that came was, in essence, let me handle this. So we paused our search for yet another way to help her, while continuing everything we knew that had already helped her have an improved quality of life. We had long assumed, like so many parents, that the number one thing that mattered in the universe was just helping her symptoms decrease. Certainly God agreed with us. We felt. But it became clear that however much that mattered to us, there was something even more important to God. And while praying without ceasing for additional miracles and guidance from Emma, we began to notice something else. Our marriage started to grow stronger. Our faith started to grow. Our children grew and developed in wonderful ways. And I'm not talking, guys, about just making more 3-pointers. All this may sound great, but what about the prayers not answered? So this weekend I read about another innocent soul who was exceedingly sorrowful and pled for escape. Father, all things are possible unto thee. Take away this cup from me. It didn't happen. Not for him, and not for so many of us, including you wonderful friends and family, many of whom are fighting your own hard battles. As this man's own dearest family and friends stood before the cross, I'm pretty sure that same thought crossed their minds. It wasn't supposed to end this way. We've been learning as a family again about what a scary finality death can feel like. Michaela has told us, your arms are going to feel empty for a while. One of our favorite things was to nudge our fingers into her clenched palms. I'll miss doing that and kissing her nose, Jacob, Monique told me a few nights ago. I want to hold her one last time, Sam said. Me too, Sam. As my kind and wise neighbor Jim Morris said about his own daughter's death years ago, this is the hole we get to work around now. But here's the thing. We do not believe these holes will be permanent. And I don't believe that will be the last time Monique kisses that button nose and the last time you hold your sister's voice. A few weeks back, I started singing to Emma a song from the musical Annie that my angel mother sent us all during some of her darkest days battling cancer. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till they're gone. When you're stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow. Now, there's a lot of sappy things we could tell ourselves on a day like this. But brothers and sisters, please hear my heart. I believe this. This isn't some sappy, corny tune. Great things lie ahead for all of us. That doesn't always feel enough to face the day. And that brings me back to all y'all, like they say in the South. In the very moment when my wife and I haven't been able to feel anything, numb from the trauma, you've been feeling for us. When Jesus faced his own most agonizing moment, he knew others couldn't take away the pain. But he told those who loved him most to do exactly what you have done for us this week. Stay close. Stay awake and keep watch with us. We haven't suffered alone, and each hug and note has seemed to lighten our load. There's a loneliness epidemic in America today, in case you haven't noticed. But not here. Not in paradise. At least not in our neighborhood and family. We've been surrounded by love, and our cup runneth over. Texts, emails, flowers, hug overdoses. 3 of you have written songs for Emma. We've had a drive-by lawn mowing, boxes of fruit taken and returned all cut up, and more emojis and tender notes than we can count. One of you even insisted on shining my shoes this morning. I find myself wondering, what do others do when they have to grapple with grief like this, but without you? The love, the sweetness, the kindness has been relentless and overwhelmingly beautiful. Like a sunset, I just have stood back this week in awe. I've been telling some of my friends the last few days that this, all of you showing up for us, it cannot be merely the product of random evolutionary forces that ended up generating kinship relationships that, across millennia, orient you to certain behavioral patterns like this for your own best interest. So we can survive more than others. There's something far grander going on right here. That's my testimony today. And it's Monique and our witness to you, our precious family and friends, that there's something divine here going on. And the sweetness and preciousness of relationships that we've felt with you this week and with our dear Emma are not meant to end. Not ever. Listen to this quote from someone that buried more than a few of his children. If I had no expectation of seeing my father, mother, brothers, sisters, and friends again, my heart would burst in a moment, and I should go down to my grave. The expectation of seeing my friends in the future glorious resurrection cheers my soul and makes me bear up against the difficulties of life. That was from Joseph Smith, a man that we consider a true prophet and who I know is a good man. Here's one more thing that hit me this week, and I'll close. So much of grieving a death in our culture is premised on the idea that this departed loved one has gone away to a place very far away, like in a galaxy far away, if they even exist at all. After my 21-year-old brother died, I would have the kindest classmates at the University of Illinois come up and say things like, "She will live on in your memory. He will always have a place in your heart, so he'll continue on." However sweet and wonderful those friends were trying to be, it just didn't quite feel right. Emma doesn't just live on in our memories. She lives on. I know that. I have felt the Spirit witness to me of that. Many of you may believe differently, and that's okay. But when I said that just now, how did it feel to you? In my experience, the sure sign of something true is peace. So I would ask you, did that feel peaceful to you? Joseph Smith taught that truth tastes good. And the opposite is true of deception. When we hear something that's wrong, we can just feel it, right? Like rotten food that's going down. Trust the peace, my dearest friends and family, and follow it. Follow the peace wherever it takes you. All is well in the Hess home. Emma, like my mother and brother, are not far off in some distant realm. They're close. And by the way, when you arrive in heaven, if you believe American culture, it's like, here's a harp, have fun playing it. But we believe that there's a lot of wonderful things going on in heaven, and that Emma can still be a part of our life. And so we say, not just that we loved Emma, but we love her still today, boys. Instead of one day you will be part of our lives again, we can rejoice today as if she had already joined us again. And tomorrow gets even better. Our secret poet neighbor, Jocelyn Bangeter, penned these beautiful lines. Our beautiful blue-eyed girl, Emma, we look forward to the day when we will hold your smiling face. We will run and dance and laugh. We will talk the night away. We have so much to look forward to, and we're so grateful for you as friends and family being here today. No matter how much today might hurt, the Prince of Peace has promised to one day make all things new and wipe away all tears, every tear from their eyes and faces. I dare you to find a better Bible verse than that. All tears, every tear wiped away one day. So Annie was right after all. The sun will come out tomorrow. We gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may. I do love tomorrow, and I'm gonna do my best to love today too. I share this in the name of Jesus Christ, who will make all things right in the end. Amen.
someday.